Okay, we are on air. Hello everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Here
So,
we have Rendya as a host, as a guest, I mean, and myself as a host. So today we are going to discuss about how to do a presentation. Is that right,
yes,
Rendya?
that is correct. We're going to
Okay.
talk how to do how what is a presentation and how to do it well.
Okay.
Okay.
First of all, thank you, Rendya, for coming here.
And
And
I
yeah,
am
I guess let's start with the question. So about how to do a presentation, like why? Why do we have
why?
to do
Good
a
question.
presentation?
I mean, it's kind of well. Should I should say that it is kind of why we should have the skill to have to make a good presentation. To do that, we need to learn what is a presentation itself, right?
Oh,
So
yeah,
here's what
you're
I'm going to
right.
show you. I'm going to show you what is a presentation and then how to do it well. Basically, and motivation too, I guess. Well, here we go. I'm going to make it a slide. Can you see?
Oh, it is. Yes, I can see it right now. Oh my
Right.
God, that's
This is
cute
in a book,
cat. Dude.
right? Right. Yes. Basically, what is uh how to do a presentation? A reasonable guideline by me. Right. Uh, I can't. Okay, can I do it? Oh yeah, right. The motivation, first of all. Are you struggle in doing well, I mean, do you do presentation, Adil? First of all, I want to ask you that.
Well, I have before.
Hmm. Well, in academic settings, you probably have to, in schools, maybe in university, or maybe in work-related settings, you might have to present something to maybe your supervisor or any kind of audience, really, right?
Yes.
I have Well, university, we usually we often have to do presentation, right?
Yeah.
Which basically, from what I can see, there are people, who have a good material, but a bad presentation. It's not going to be well conveyed, is it? And in university and school settings, you probably not going to have, if you presentation is bad enough, your message will be not conveyed yet, uh your score, basically your grade, will be not that much higher than you have to credit for, right? But there are, yeah, so I have seen this. I have a friend, who is a very good, uh in a project settings. He is a very, they create a very great work in there. Let's say, so he made a website. The assignment was to make a website, a good website, and then he does it well. He does it good, but when presented to the teacher, he does not that is not have a good presentation. So the teacher is the lecturer was not going to grade him
Satisfied.
well. Not
Satisfied.
satisfied basically. So that's kind of uh the partly of the reason why I want to do this guideline, so to speak, because it's such a waste, right? A good thing, a good material, but just plainly bad presentation will make something not worth enough. And then also there are bad material with a good presentation. This is, this outside our scope, but with a good presentation, even the simple thing that everybody knows can be a good kind of impressionable for people.
Agree. Agree. Agree.
It kind of like a glorified message, but it does, sometimes it does work, basically. So if you have some kind of bad assignment and then you convey it well, you're probably gonna get a
Yeah.
good grade. Yeah,
Yeah.
basically. So this is why, so we need, we need a skill to do good presentation, right? So what I'm going to talk about is what is a presentation and how to do a presentation. Simple as that. So what is a presentation? It's basically boils down to communicating a subject to audience. Here's the three main part: communication, subject, and audience. And basically, so what I mean by a good presentation, it means you have this, you know well about these three things. You have a good communication, you have at least a good knowledge about the subject, and then you have not a good audience, more like a well targeted audience, right? These three presents matter most when we have a presentation. A good or bad presentation depends on these three subjects. Now, that's it. That's what. Now, how to do it? In this in this discussion, we just going. They are, well, you see. First of all, there are general advice and there are specific advice. First of all, usually when I do some before when I do kind of literature studying on these matters, well, basically, they are kind of specific advice, right? Keep it simple. Well, I mean, it's kind of general, but to be honest, this is just on the on the let's you see like follow 10, 20, 30 is more like for just text presentation, right? But presentation is not just a text presentation. It's called also be some kind of other things like food presentation. How do you present a food to other people? And then it's not just basic contest. So it's not just, I don't want this to just a specific type of advice on presentation. I want it to be more general. All right. But usually the more general advice you made, it will kind of make it more ambiguous, right? So in this general advice that I will tell you, I will give you some example to basically to ground down the advice that I will tell to you. So you don't just what does it mean or ambiguous things like that. Yeah. So far you got it, Adil? So
Yes, of
presentation is
course.
not just so maybe go back. So presentation, it doesn't have to be some kind of just PowerPoint presentation or just text presentation. It could be anything else. Such as a read.md text presentation, like
Wait, is
in
it is a podcast is a presentation?
correct, is
Oh,
communicating a subject to
okay.
audience.
Uh,
So
with your definition, podcast is
yeah,
included, right?
yeah, perhaps. Well,
Okay.
I mean, well, yeah, basically. So
Yeah,
in technical sense, yes, because we present a subject and we are the communicating to our audience, right, about this
yes.
subject. Basically, yes. Lecturing is actually a presentation itself, right?
Agree.
There are many things that we can define it as a presentation. This is a presentation. Your I mean, this is just how we do it. But yeah, basically, back to our, not this one. Okay. Now, in this general advice that I will tell you, there are only two things you need to understand to make a good presentation. First, your settings, and second, design and communication principle. Right?
Yes.
Maybe first we learn your settings. Your settings means your any kind of background, I guess, your situation, your goals, and your audience. Examples: you are in an assignment and you are going to present it to your lecturer. That's one example of your situation. Sometimes your situation does need. Here's some kind of specific example. In your sometimes your situation you need to put all information in the presentation, so it kind of make it like bloated. Your presentation is going to be bloated by information, but you need it because your settings, your situation require to do that. Well, that is one of kind of specific situation you got there, but well, here that's what I mean what situation is. Like for another example, maybe you want to present a food to other people, to some people you want to make, so you need to your situation going to detect how you're going to present, how you going to do a presentation. So and other things like your goals, your audience, your goals, well, to good, maybe in your situation, maybe you want your goals to be have a good grade, I mean, to well convey information about this subject, or etc. And then your audience is going to detect how you tone your subject, basically. Is it casual or formal, or maybe uh, you need, is it more interactive, or you just lecture people about stuff? These three point is going to matter most when you going to do a presentation, basically. Yeah, so far so good.
Good, good, good.
All right, now the next one is design and communication principle. This is going to more this is going to be the before is how your settings, right, how your background, how you, before you do a presentation, you need to do this thing, right, from your settings, right, to define this your settings, right. And this is while you do your presentation, this is the principle you need to adhere, the design principle and communication principle, basically. Well, the design principle is simple, actually. It's just white space, proximity, similarity. I'm gonna give you some example. There are but you see, the principle you can see at one of the things that one of the way, well, not way, one of the guide for me in this principle. You can read it in lawofux.com. Here, there are many,
Laws of
including
UX.
you. Yeah, there are many actually. The aesthetic usability effect, threshold, you can read it and you can understand how it will affect your uh, visualization design, basically. Food, I mean, food presentation does. This is a guideline for visualization, I guess, rather than communication. That's why I differentiate between design and communication principle. For example, you know Pareto principle, Adil?
Of course, I
I
know
bet you
that.
do, since you are explaining me before, right? Yeah, that is the part of one of the principle in design. Right now, for example, there are font, background, placement. I'm going to make this example of a presentation, PowerPoint presentation. All right, is it fine with you?
Of course, truly
Let's
fine by
see.
me.
Example will be a minimalist mistake. A minimalist mistake is when you want to make a minimalist presentation, or at least a look of minimalist ones, but you fail because it's just too lazy. It feels too lazy. It feels unprofessional. For example, this is. Let's see about this. Which one do you think is more professional?
Of course, the one who doesn't use um font, um what is it, sans serif, I forgot. Yeah, the
This
one
one,
that yes, this one is more better for,
right?
is better for me.
Now I ask why? Why this is one is more better? Well, preference may be one of the things, but there are principles that adhere in this first slide. First of all, there are white space, yeah, right,
Mm.
and there are maybe font, and then uh, the principle, I guess, but other principle, I guess. But what I mean is, when you try to do a minimalist presentation, you need to have more weight, focus, attention to this basic element of your your PowerPoint. Basically, you need to focus on more on font, focus on more and white space, focus on more the color. This I mean, for example, if I do this one is without the Times New Roman font, and then without the gradient color, it will be not as professional as I have right now, right?
Yes. 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 Yes.
Because it is a minimalist, but if you don't do it well, it might look as well as a lazy person do it, right?
Yeah.
That's why when you do a minimalist presentation, you do have to put some kind of attention to it when you create one. This is just example how design principle could help you in in to do a good a well presentation, even if this presentation is just a minimalist one, right? Now the communication principle, it's actually just I mean, it is how you talk to other to how you talk to the audience. Basically, there are several principles in there: comprehensiveness, coherence, style. This matter most when you are, like, say, informal setting. You need to talk more clinically, more formal, and etc. And they are like coherence, like how your narrative will be in your when you are do a presentation. Is it just, for example, they are introduction, uh and then the main content, and then the conclusion, and thank you, and etc. But it doesn't have to be like that. For example, in in the thesis, bachelor thesis, dissertation, they are and research paper. Usually they are introduction, and then literal study, and then methodology, and experiment, and then conclusion, right?
Yes. Yes.
This is kind of the narrative of coherence, right? And then there are effective principle, and then comprehensive principle. Well, let's look of a small example. The formal is, you already know the formal one, like you talk formally or to certain kind of audience. And then there's the hook is some kind of common structure, which is basically make your audience interested first before you going to explain things, right?
Yes.
I'm
Engaging.
sure you understand. It's kind of it's not it is an example of style principle. Basically, there are storyboard which you can do this.
Story broad. Oh,
Yeah,
you have a typo there.
yeah, I think I have typo, sorry. You can use some kind of visuality aid like storyboard. You have story
Oh
in
my
there.
God.
This is not
Nice.
basically, this is not me doing this is from my game development projects before.
All right. All right.
Image
Yeah,
I
this
mean
is
image
very
is
good storyboard.
yeah, I mean, basically uh some storyboard will be fine. And then there are narrative could be in the text in your thesis. I mean, basically a novel would be a presentation about a story, right?
Yes.
Yeah, basically. Well, technically yes, but what I mean is you need to adhere in this communication principle. Basically, you can see a link in there. This is a good 7 principle of communication. You need to be effective, you need to comprehensive, clarity, attention. I will put all the links in the description if you
Oh, thank you.
all for want to learn more about this principle. But this is a general advice for people who want to good good presentation, basically. Well, yeah. Well, let's see some common structure. All right. Okay, common structure will be, well, sorry, I already explained this, but like in the story, there are chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, and they explain narratively in the comical story, and then there are more like formal one. For example, this my my report on how to learn introduction of outlier detection, which you can see uh, mainly it's not like a dissertation. It's not like a thesis structure, but it's more like an outline, and then and then what is example, and then what aspect in there. It doesn't necessarily have to doesn't necessarily to adhere a structure, but some kind of structure will be nice, basically, in presentation. Yeah. And then yeah, after this common structure, here's what you should do. All right, understand the principle will be nice, will be good one. You don't have to understand all of them. Just remember, you usually need to you usually subconsciously or unconsciously follow this principle to be able to have a good presentation. Or maybe you want to just, you don't need to learn this principle, but usually you can see why is it bad, why is it good from your presentation. For example, you and I will may have adhered to this principle without knowing, so it's fine. But understanding the principle will be tremendous in basically in doing a good presentation. Two, understanding your settings. So after understanding the principle, maybe just a general knowledge of the principle, maybe you need, after that, you understand your settings first. While you, for example, what your setting is, what my background is. For example, if I want to present a presentation about a startup to investor, you need to prepare what the investor wants. Like, this is your goal. This is going to matter most in your goal. Like, you want the investor probably wants to know what is this startup, what is how will impact the people there, how much funding do you need, etc., etc. That's kind of, this is the part of the settings that you need to understand. And then you also need to know maybe what kind of tone that you need to speak. Maybe your startup is more like a casual one, or maybe a serious one. It's kind of necessary to be able to convey correctly, basically, to your audience. And then you give it some time to create a good presentation. Basically, you create one and create it well. Give it some time. I have seen people who uh, doesn't really care about how presentation, and it tends to undermine your material, basically. Did you know that to create some to create Apple Apple, a presentation in Apple
Company?
product,
Oh,
yeah, Apple
product.
company as a product, you need at least 3 hours of this is just a making presentation, 3 hours of time to make a presentation about it. So let's say an iPhone 13, they need at least 300 hours to make one a good presentation that they are going to do it in
Wait, what?
Keynote.
300?
Yeah, 300 hours.
Oh my God, that's
I have this source,
so long,
but
man. That's
yeah, it's
so
kind
time
that's how important it is.
consuming.
Well, I mean, Apple keynotes are always been amazing, right?
Yeah,
Visually, and yeah, basically visualization and etc. But it is
they are a trendsetter
uh they are they are a key player in this
yeah.
kind of presentation
In
things,
industry.
industry. That's why, give it some time. All right, don't do it at the last second. Maybe just give it kind of like 1 day, 2 day, depending on your setting, of course. But give it some time. Maybe after you create one, you go to test it. Try some audience. Try to ask some other people to review your presentation. Is it a good one or not a good one? Then you can modify it and create a more better one, etc. Until the real presentation will become and So basically, that's it. Actually, yeah. So that's it. For me.
Okay, very
What do you
nice,
think,
Randy. It
Adil?
is amazing, when you um explain about how to do presentation, you also
Mm.
create a good presentation.
Yeah, this is a
Very good.
presentation itself, right?
Yeah.
Well, maybe if I will add, there are many ways to create a presentation. Well, let's scope it down to just PowerPoint presentation. All right, it's
Okay.
visual.
Okay.
First of all, there are that is a visual aid, right? There are many ways to do it. They are, well, the most common one is actually by Microsoft PowerPoint, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there are
And
Google
using
Slides.
Google Slides, it is the
Mhm.
most
And then
common.
the most common one is good, and there are more sophisticated one like uh
Canva,
Canva,
or
and then
using I
using
forgot
latex
the
beamer,
yeah, some, yeah, I understand. I understand.
and then
Okay, Ren. Um, I kind of want I usually start my um you know
mhm,
um kind of doing something with critical thinking.
yeah,
And let's start with the problem statement. All right.
right.
Can I open whiteboard in here?
Oh yeah, sure. Should I stop your sharing?
Yes, please.
Yeah, okay.
Using whiteboard, we can collaborate. Okay, so let's start with the problem statement. The problem statement, from what I understand, um is that no. Let's start with the problem. The problem will be um creating a good presentation, right? And then we should start with asking why we should create a good presentation. And so we create another one. Wait. And it is because we want to communicate. We want the people, we want the audiences to understand the idea that that we want to convey, right?
Hmm.
All right, here it is. And so why we want the audiences to understand the idea that we want to convey? Well, simply we want to we want to change their behavior somehow, their belief, or their, I don't know, some kind of like that, right? But let's say it is behavior. If it is the product, it means that we want them to buy our product. If it is like assignment in university, we want um, the teachers to understand, so we got a good grade. All right.
Hmm.
So let's say it is to change the behavior. And then, so with this in mind, I guess um, it is about the problem statement will be how to create a good present a presentation that will change people behavior, right?
Hmm.
People
Um, Hold on. Maybe some kind of wait.
that
We
will
want to understand the idea. We want to convey why. Well, we want to change their behavior, and maybe some kind of maybe they are want to leave a good impression,
yeah, good impression.
and
And
then
maybe we want to, you know give some kind of credibility, or like, I know there are so many reasons why we want to convey our idea,
hmm,
right?
yeah, there are
So
many
yeah,
things actually.
in the end, it is about, so maybe the people will understand how to
Hmm,
create a presentation so people will understand. That's what it means, right? It
Mm.
is
Well,
the core idea. It is the
mm,
core idea. So people understand.
yeah. So people know exactly what we meant, what we see without wasting any kind of idea, I guess. So yeah. Like that game that we like a chain message, like we say a message and then we say to people behind, and then people behind will
Yeah.
say yeah, it's kind of like that. So eventually the message kind of will uh deteriorate, right?
Yes.
Now we want to preserve the message as good as possible. That's
That's
going to
the
be
goal. That's the
that's
goal.
the goal.
Okay. So this is the problem statement. Do you agree?
Creating a good presentation, yes, I agree.
Okay. And then we
Because
start with the goals. Okay, the goals. First is that the people understand, and then
mm,
no, not understand. Um, should the people understand as easily as possible?
uh as easily as possible,
With ease, I mean with very ease.
to understand the idea. Well, not necessarily yeah, easily, yes, maybe correct, the idea
Understand
easily, but
easily.
more importantly is more uh complete, I guess. More
Oh, I
full.
see. All right.
It's not easy,
Understand.
maybe it's not easy, but it at least is complete. They know the every nook and cranny,
Oh
to be
yeah,
exact, the structure.
completely,
Mm.
completely,
Understand the idea completely,
completely.
basically.
How about easily? Should we include in our goals?
Maybe, yeah, of course.
Okay,
Yeah, we should put it completely understand, like like the struggle of the maybe we want to tell about the struggle. I mean, yeah, so they have a complete understanding, so they can have some good decision or good judgment about
okay, okay,
this
okay.
idea, basically. Yeah.
So completely and also easily. Is there any more metrics besides these two?
Maybe not easily the right word,
All right,
perhaps
not
more
easy.
like not easy, not
Okay, not easy. Fine.
effectively about that.
Effectively. All right. People
Yeah,
understand effectively. Oh yeah, yeah. It is more
not
better, right?
necessarily easy, but as long people know it like effectively, I mean, I mean, there are no kind of understand it. Maybe I need some time to understand it, but it is the most efficient one to be understand. Okay,
All right.
this kind of
So
idea, basically. Yeah,
only these two.
I guess.
Let's say yes.
Oh,
I mean
sorry. Maybe not effectively. Effectively means it's closely related to complete, but more like efficiently,
efficiently. All right.
not effectively,
Efficiently.
efficient. Mm.
Efficiently. All right. So no, no more beside these two. Only these two, right?
Yeah, I think to encompass all
All
of the
right.
matters that we want to know. Mm.
All right. And then we could write the boundary in here. Maybe for the boundary, the tools that we have. Like if we don't have any computer, then there is no point creating a PowerPoint slides. All right. You
Well,
know,
this my
depending on
true.
the tools.
Depending on the tools, but
Depending on the tools. But you see, the most basic one is by writing or by speaking,
by
right?
this,
It is
but yeah,
very,
writing, speaking, and
it
then
is,
some kind of visualization aid
yeah.
like PowerPoint. Yeah,
Maybe you
to
even in more basic using
just
hand
talk.
science,
Yes,
using hand
science,
science. It is very
body language,
very
maybe.
as for the constraint,
Hmm.
here constraint, I think it is depend on the time, I guess. Like if we have, like you said, if we have like 1 month, then
Mm,
maybe we could create a PowerPoint with 300 hours of preparation.
maybe,
And
perhaps.
yeah, and also if you want to have um like a good visual like design or icon, and so we should pay. Yeah, it depends on
Mm.
our budget.
Well, not only time and budget, there are also like your settings constraint. Like I said before, you have your backgrounds. Like imagine you want to make uh, you got an assignment for your lecturer to explain this subject, right? You need to and then your presentation need to be submitted at the uh
Yeah, that
course website,
deadline.
yeah,
Yeah, oh yeah.
the course website, and then you kind of may want to cram as much as information possible if you are not going to present it in live presented. So yeah, so they are like don't you have assignment that you don't need to present but just uh but uh just
Submit the
submit the presentation
presentation
itself now?
slide. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so there are constraints in there, such as you can't explain it yourself, so you need to put you need to cram information as much as possible in that presentation, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
right, right, right.
so that's what I mean when I say
Settings.
your settings is
Yeah,
the constraint itself.
the constraint. Constraint is
Yeah,
basically asking what we shouldn't do, and
yeah, what we
boundary
should
is
do.
basically asking what we can't do. Okay, so you got
All
it
right.
right. Okay, so we got the
Yeah, I
boundary.
guess what you can do and what you can't do. Okay, all right.
What you shouldn't do.
What
Yeah,
you should do.
what you shouldn't. Wait. Why this? Oh my god, it becomes. Oh my
And
god, what
settings,
happened? Um,
your background, I guess. All right.
uh, I guess now. Okay, good. So stakeholder, there are also,
Stakeholder.
yeah, there are actually when I learn about critical thinking, we should um
Uh,
consider the stakeholder who
the
will,
who are involved.
yeah, audiences basically this. Yeah, this stakeholder in presentation is basically the audiences,
You and your
or not only
audiences.
audiences. Our boss could be a stakeholder too. So stakeholder, stakeholder. No, it's not
Not
audience.
you. Sorry. Maybe the correct ones will be uh the the team that create the presentation and the audience, right?
Oh
The
yeah,
target audience. So, for
team.
example, you want to explain something to your boss. Basically, it means your boss is the audience, right?
No. I mean, um, you
Or maybe
see,
you want to explain to audience and you
yeah,
have
the audience, but we
supervisor,
still have a boss. Yeah,
and
yeah,
in
yeah,
it means that you and your supervisor are the team that create the presentation, basically, right?
yeah. Basically, that's what I mean. Our
Mm-mm.
supervisor, our team, and then there's an audience.
Well, I
So
guess the supervisor part of the team that create the presentation, basically.
yeah, I mean, yeah, s- stakeholder basically, but will be audience.
And
Will be there. Uh, always included. But for
audience will be
boss or
always.
for team, it isn't always included. Okay, so the last one is timeline. Like for target or timeline. Establish the timeline. Yeah, depend on the deadline. Okay, so this is the
Deadline.
critical thinking when we want to make a presentation. This
Mhm.
is what we have to consider. And of course, after we make a plan, we should thinking about the consequences. Like, would it take uh so long to create it, or would it take so much of our money? That's what we should consider after we have thinking about the solution. And after we have uh, apply critical thinking in presentation, now I'm quite interested with your presentation here, and it is about the the general and the specific one.
Yeah, okay.
So the general means that presentation, it could be for anything, right? Like
Yeah.
for, yeah, I
Uh,
mean, it is
what I
very
mean
up.
by general, it means that this advice is broad for any kind of presentation, really, from
Yeah,
just us communicating each other, yeah, by talking, or more sophisticated one, like you want to present something to your audience about your product and anything else. But basically, I want to make it general, but I want to ask rather and specific ones. Specific ones would mean that, well, this is specific to communication with PowerPoint, basically. So
yeah,
yeah,
and
just that.
specific is like tips for food presentation, tips
Yeah, yeah.
for um
Tips for
writing
the
a presentation or so on,
mm,
right? That's what you
yeah,
mean.
yeah,
All right,
basically.
that's very good. Okay, and then there are principles and settings and minimalist mistake. So in
Yeah,
minimalist
that's
mistake, actually,
mm,
like um you have to put an effort, even though it is minimalist, right? That's what
correct.
we mean.
Yeah,
We should give
that's the
time. We should
mm,
give attention to the details.
mm.
What color would match, and
Yeah,
so on.
because sometimes people think that minimalist is lazy stuff, right?
Oh yeah.
But the truth is it doesn't it does it wasn't it does not being lazy. It means just put simplicity in your presentation, and then by focusing on things that really matters, such as uh font, and then the white space, and then the idea that what you convey itself. This is I mean, it is a style, right? Minimalist is a style, but some people per, like in their minds thinking that minimalist is a lazy style, but it does is it not. It means it's just put effort in your so-called minimal element in there. Mm.
Okay, okay,
but yeah, basically what by doing the principle correctly, you can create, even though it is minimal, but it's beautiful and simple and well effective, and
okay, okay.
yeah, etc.
So I want to rehearse about um the key takeaway for the readers.
Right.
So we should understand the principles, such as
Yes.
designing the slide, and then I think it is more important, to understand the
Mm,
principle of communication, the using
mm,
speak our word or our writing. I mean for the presentation, it is
mm.
not really, it is important. Oh, no, 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 so that's not
The design
okay.
principle.
Okay, maybe for this, how to do a presentation, what is the most important tips you could give to the people, to those people?
Well, for if you don't want to learn the principle, first of all, I mean, nobody has time to learn all the principle, correct?
Yes.
At least you want to understand your settings first, right? What I mean settings, by your background, your constraint in your project, anything that you going to communicate to your audience, right? You need to understand that first, and then give it some time to create a good presentation. Just see what it works, see what it doesn't work, and those two tips should help you create a good one. a good presentation to communicate to the audience efficiently and well completely
Okay,
basically.
so
That's the
when
first.
we create the presentation, should we give more time in designing the presentation or in the communication?
Oh, well, the key point is to convey well. So well, since usually uh well, how should I say this? It depends on the
Setting.
how hard the top, not the settings, yeah, the settings maybe, but the point is the subject of your trying to communicate. For example, it's going to be hard to explain equation without diagrams, right? Without the
Oh,
equation
I
itself,
mean,
right?
I see, understand.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so that's and then there are things that easily to explain, such as well, describing how to cook something, maybe how to explain an idea, etc.
yeah.
Maybe
So
you're going to explain,
you are
yeah.
right
So
about
mm,
settings. Okay, I am completely agree with
mm,
your suggestion, but we have to understand our settings.
you
Creating
need
a
to
problem
understand yourself.
statement like this,
Mm.
creating the boundary, constraint, stakeholder, and so on. Yeah, I
the
completely
the
agree. The const
the true.
Yeah,
Well,
that
so to answer your question, it depends on what settings you have, the subjects you have. So understanding that will
so this three is the most important things that those people, uh, a public speaker should consider these three things.
what is the three things?
This
uh
whiteboard that I am all right. Yeah, which
oh yeah,
that I
yeah.
move soft timeline
Well,
is also
yeah, okay. True, actually, of these four things, right? Yeah.
these four
You
things.
need to, the
All right.
principle itself, it's a good addition, especially if you want to cut back some time doing this, creating this a good presentation. So, such example, if you know how to do white space based on this principle, you will cut so much time rather than just trying it out and see if it works or not works, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Mm. I mean,
But
yeah, but
honestly, I think the most important out of these four is the constraint because you
correct.
see,
Mhm.
when we don't even have the time to create the presentation, then we should focus on our uh yeah, I think constraint is the most important. Or
Mm.
yeah, yeah, that's
So, true.
yeah, that's what.
There are approaches in this, if you have some constraint in there. If you have so little time to do to explain stuff, well, you could always talk like just communication, right?
Hmm.
Rather than just using any kind of PowerPoint presentation, etc. But consider the efficiency of your convey information. If when you try to, if communication does uh, not good enough to convey an information, you need to add some visualization aid, perhaps.
All right. Okay, okay. I understand, Ran.
Mm.
I think is there I want to give a conclusion for this topic. Uh
Well,
do you have
how do you,
before I give it, do you want to tell something?
maybe just one thing actually.
Okay.
Well, there are so many tools, right, to create a presentation, all right, and it
Right.
depends on setting, maybe. But hear me out. I think what people should do when trying to do a presentation is just try not using any kind of aid, any kind of
Oh,
tools. Just
yes.
so when they create, they can see which one that you need an aid, visualization aid, or any aid, any kind of aid at all. and you also can see with whatever you uh whatever your what's wrong with your communication and etc. But basically, to improve your communication skills too. To be fair.
Okay.
And another one is
So there
sorry
are
if
two.
I
There are two. Okay.
well,
No
this is
problem.
just a small addition, but
Oh yeah.
right now I like to use Pandocs as my presentation visualization aid. Can you see?
Okay, I can see it.
Yeah, it's basically just a
Oh, this is
markdown.
very good.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah, this is good.
Yeah, this is just so what I need to when I want. So I don't care about the style. So it already pre-made by them. So basically, I just copy paste some kind of uh for example, I want to uh conclude conclusion. I have bad.
Conclusion. Yeah, I
Sorry,
understand.
I yeah, just made one basically. Just blah 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 blah. Since it is markdown, you can create table, you can create code. For example, if I want to create code in there.
Yeah, compile. I want to see it.
Sorry, how do I how-
Um,
sorry, yeah, I got
isn't
bad.
isn't code should be like this, right?
No, sorry, I got a bad
What happens to your keyboard? It should be
oh
like
my.
this. What from what I understand. I've uh, I never
Okay,
thought that we could do. Okay, does it work?
let's see.
What happens?
Oh no, oh shit, what? Oh, sorry,
Oh,
sorry, not this. Backtick, more like.
yeah, yeah. That's what I mean. I've copy pasted. I've pasted. Okay.
Yeah,
That's what I
so
mean.
right, 'cause, yeah,
Ah, yeah, that's right.
yeah. I mean, it's a good for our sorry for your audience information. We both is a computer science student. More like a graduate student. So
No, not
uh,
graduate student. We
the
are an
graduate
alumni.
student. We are
alum,
alumni of yeah
alumnus,
alumni of computer science
alumni,
student.
alumni.
But so this might one of the things that tools that you can have when doing this kind of stuff. So yeah. That's all of me. Okay.
All
So
right.
it's
So,
called MARP, by the way.
okay. So let me conclude it. Okay. So, viewers, today Randia explains about how to do a presentation, and at first he tells us about the motivation. It is very beneficial to understand this this topic, since like if we have a bad material but our presentation is good, it we could get a good result out of it, since it feels like a glorified message. And then um Randia also defines about what is presentation, and by his definition, it means that we communicate our subject to the audiences. So with this definition, presentation could be a podcast, could be writing, could be novel, could be, yeah, basically anything, as long as uh, you know line with the definition. He also mentioned um the general versus specific uh tips or whatever. What is it? And
So it just meant this
yeah,
advice that I have is
yeah,
very general,
it is very
rather than
general. Yeah, what
specific.
you mean that it is general. Presentation is quite general, and it could be specific if we want to. Like if it is about food presentation, then yeah, it is a food presentation. If it is about academic presentation, then yeah, it is specific. But the definition is general. And so after that, he defines what is presentation. He gave us the tips on how to do it well. And at first, we have to understand the settings, like who are the audiences, or who are we, our background, and yeah, our condition, our boundary, what we can
Our time,
do,
mm,
yeah,
what
and
we
so
can't
on.
do, and constraint. I said,
Yeah, our constraint, like we have talked about earlier. And then after we understand our settings, no, no, it should be principles first, right? If I'm not wrong. Yeah, it
yeah,
should
yeah,
be
it shall be
principle.
principle first.
Yeah, at first it should be, we have to understand the principles of doing presentation. Like for communication, we should our communication should be clear. It should be and so on. I forgot actually, but what I remember is it should be clear. Yeah, and
Should be
then
clear, should be coherent, etc.
yeah, and then uh there and after we have done with the communication, we could go for the presentation principle, for the design of the presentation principles,
Mm.
just Pareto principle, and then I forgot what kind of what principle. Yeah, just go,
Proximity,
yeah,
similarity,
proximity,
etc.
similarity, and so on.
Well,
After we understand our principles, and then go for the settings to understand our settings, and then um, we should invest our time to create a good presentation. It is very important, and many people doesn't do it. Many people don't do it. After we have done with investing our time for creating good presentation, we test it to the real audiences. So that's the conclusion of this presentation. Yeah. Okay.
all right.
Is that right, Rendia?
That's well correct. Mostly. Maybe just some of the general specificity part is refers to what I going to explain rather than just a concept really. What I meant general and specificity is just I'm going to give you a general advice
Oh,
since
general advice.
when I do literature study on it, when I read some kind of the advice that they have is very specific, right?
Yeah.
Uh, to the PowerPoint presentation, but it doesn't have to be that specific. What if I want to just
Okay.
communicate to
Yeah.
people, right?
Okay,
I
Ren.
give general ones and
Yeah.
then
Okay,
mm.
Ren. Uh, do you like doing presentation?
Yeah, kinda. I mean, it served as well. I kinda like teaching first of all. I mean, explaining stuff is what I like. And presentation is one of the such important uh such an important artifact in teaching, right?
Right. So
So yeah.
it has been from high school or just recently?
Oh, I mean, well, it's very, very long time ago. I like when you said I like teaching. You say this question is for me liking teaching, or
Yeah, just just want to know your background about this idea of presentation.
oh, right. I like teaching way long ago. Well, my sorry. Oh, what is called? Oh, sorry. My major was I once want to become a math teacher rather than computer science,
Oh,
but
really?
yeah.
Since
Do
when?
you know?
Since when?
You see, my parent wants me to do computer science rather than math degree, right? So here's some secret. But I put I put computer science as my
Choice.
first choice, in hope that I don't get computer science, but rather at my second choice, which is a math degree in my university, basically. And then
In
the third choice is the math degree too. It at the most easiest university that I could be at, basically.
oh really? You
Yeah,
since when that you want to become a math teacher?
since, well, I like math way before. First of all, at not six at four grade school.
Oh my god.
I really like
And
math,
yeah, okay. So
and I want to be a
so you want to
teacher.
become
Maybe
teacher since fourth grade?
no, no, not the teacher. I just like math at fourth grade.
Okay.
And then at the maybe start of high school,
Starts first year.
first year.
You want to become a math teacher?
Yes. Since, do you know number file channel on the
Of
YouTube?
course I know.
Yeah, I kind of want to be like that, to be honest. I watched them at my middle school. So when I first, well, I got influences and their influence in high school, basically.
Okay, I get it. But your parents didn't allow you.
Yeah, my parents kind of want me to computer science because it's way more practical than math.
Okay.
While my parent argues that uh computer science is basically practical math, but yeah. Well, what I really want to is do pure math rather than just practical math, basically.
Oh, I see. Okay.
You know,
So do you want to become a math teacher right now? Do you still want to become a math teacher, right?
well, I want to have a math channel, at least at
Oh,
YouTube.
but do you have
Uh,
one right now?
I don't, but it puts in my bucket list of what things that I want to do after a couple of while. Maybe part time after maybe after 6 months in this. Look, I'm kind of want to enjoy my life, right? For a couple of, maybe 1 month before I search for jobs. Uh, right now, so yeah, I having fun right now. Maybe in the next month or so, I will create a math channel YouTube video.
Okay, then. So I actually have created myself a math channel, a
Oh
tutorial
yeah.
channel. Yeah. If you look at
Oh,
my this YouTube channel actually,
oh, I
so
see.
because Mr. Denny asked me to learn semi-supervised learning and so
Oh,
on because he just too general. He told me too general, and I feel like, oh man, I should make some kind of portfolio out of this. So after I learn it, I tried to teach it, in
mm.
and then I upload it on YouTube. So yeah,
I see.
you have read it.
Semi-supervised learning. Well, it's rather more like computer science, right, rather than
Yeah,
just math.
actually it is um computer science related.
But
Yeah.
what I really want is actually more like a pure math stuff,
Oh,
like set
pure.
theory,
Oh
pure,
my god.
like the foundation of mathematics, like logic, perhaps mathematical logic.
Calculus?
Nah, calculus is more practical. I mean, look, just give you how about I do this topic at 2 weeks, but here's some kind of teaser to for it. I do mathematical logic. I do how to understand that 1 plus 1. You know that 1 plus 1 equals 2, right? It's basic
Yes.
knowledge, but it does not make sense in logic sense. Logically, it does not make sense. But in our reality, it's just a common assumption that 1 plus 1 is 2. Why 1 plus 1 is 2 logically is not yet determined. But in mathematical logic, it defines how 1 plus 1 equals 2 without basic assumption, like, and on based on our reality. Basically, it defines by based only one and on, because the logic, the only assumption in there is just things exist, and yeah, it stands for that. So that's the stem theory that I want to convey. It's called
Oh,
an axiom. It's like it's kind of ZFC axiom, but or piano axiom if you want to easier one. But it stands for logic that 1 + 1 is 2, rather than just intuitively think that, since we objectively see say a 1 + 1 is 2,
okay,
basically.
okay, okay. So back again
Yeah.
to our to the root question. So you have done presentation and you love it,